Good afternoon and a warm welcome to today's episode of the 7th Round, the program that takes a look at the issues that make the news during the week. With me to discuss most of these issues, I have Uche Chinwe.
Hello, Mr. Willie. Hello, viewers. Happy Sunday to you.
You are welcome.
Thank you.
Today we are looking at education. The president of CEMAC Commission, Professor Daniel Ona-Ondo, has said that no CEMAC university appears in the top 1,000 of the best international ranking of universities in the world. So we are going to discuss this, why a whole 1,000, none of the universities in 6 countries appeared in that ranking. We discuss that after this report.
In the global competition for knowledge, African universities are not on an equal footing with those of other continents. Africa, for its part, is losing ground every year. During an extraordinary session of the Conference of Rectors and Heads of Research Institutions in Central Africa, held by video conference on April 19 to 20th, no CEMAC university appears in the top 1,000 of the best international rankings of world universities, says Gabonese Daniel Ona-Ondo, the president of the CEMAC Commission. According to him, this situation is the consequence of the fact that universities and research centers in the sub-region have faced with structural problems and resources. This has consequences for the image and relevance of higher education systems in the context of global competition in the knowledge market. We will have no excuse in future generations if we do not fight to improve the standards of our universities and ensure that scientific research has a real impact on the development of the country, recommended Mr. Ona-Ondo. According to him, even if one can discuss the relevance of the criteria used in relation to local realities, the fact is that the universities of the sub-region have difficulty making a comparison. To change the situation, proposals on updating the files relating to the credit system specific to the sub-regional LMD system, such as the license, master and doctorate, the CEMAC level for accreditation and certification of establishments and training, and the quality assurance unit within the CEMAC space was recommended.
Okay, Uche, thank you for that report. That was by Uche Chinwe. And Uche, he said, this situation is the consequence of the fact that universities and research centers in the sub-region are facing structural and resource problem. Let's look at resource problem first. That is funding of the universities. Do you think universities are best funded not only in the sub-region but in Africa as a whole?
It's quite unfortunate that Africa do lag behind in everything. And it's quite hilarious that no CEMAC university is in the top 1,000 of the best international rankings. They couldn't even surface based on performances in 4 areas of teaching, research, knowledge transfer, and international outlook. Then, coming to talk about the funding, who is supposed to fund the universities for them, if not the government?
Yes, it is the government, because if funding is made available, won't you think the university will try to come up with this basic requirement? Even
when the need of the basic requirements is made, you find out that most of the times they don't even use it. Someone will just corner the money for his own benefit.
But apart from the resources, that is the funding of the university, which even if you go to the university community and across the continent or the sub-region and ask them, they'll be saying it is funding is lacking. That basically you said, because if the government does not provide funding, the university cannot meet the required standard that it needs, because the management of the university, as a matter of fact, must use that funding to make sure they improve the system.
Then what is the work of the VC of a university? When you come into your tenure and you find out that most of the things are lacking, what is your work as a VC? Why not write to the state government, this and this are what my schools need? We need it so that we can improve on some certain things.
Okay, now, because it also talk about the structural. The structural could mean the classroom itself, the laboratory, and the library. Most of the universities are lacking on this, especially the research center is not there. So why must one put up a university without an up-to-date laboratory, an up-to-date library that would enhance learning.
It's all fall back on the government, because you people cannot ask students, the parents of students, to pay school fees and all that. Then where are these monies going to, when we cannot just bring it out and fund the school?
Yes, we cannot bring it out and fund the school, but that is telling on the school, because he said this has consequences for the image and relevance of higher education system in a context of global competition in knowledge market. And because of this funding, this is what we have, Uche. 1,000 universities, none is there. Yes, it is quite alarming that we can have that, and this is what is happening. This is the result. So what is actually the problem?
Just like I said, I think corruption at the utmost part of it, at the highest level.
Is it at the university level or at the government level that is not funding? At the government level
and also at the university level. Because you can't just tell me that a new VC come into the university and write some proposals to the government to aid the university system. Maybe the government might release the money, nobody knows. Then you as a VC, because of your selfish interest, you corner the money and still tax students to provide one or two things for their research and all that.
But I think what the students paid in the university, as some of, apart from
they pay huge amount of money, Mr.
In some federal university or in some private universities.
In fact, university now is a business. They pay huge amount of money.
Yes, if they pay, because if you pay a huge amount of money, it has university education is expensive education, because you have to go into the research, you have to have all the requirements that will make you come out as a marketable graduate. Not for you to go there and enjoy maybe food or whatever. You see a student every day coming out to engage in one strike action or the other. That is the university for you. It is an expensive place. Because if you leave maybe, excuse me, Gabon or Nigeria or any other country, and you want to go to university abroad, you must spend a huge amount of money.
Spending the huge amount of money is good. At least you are very sure of the school environment and the school facilities. But a situation whereby you just spend huge amount of money in Africa and you are not getting the basic requirement, let me use that, then who is to be blamed? It's not as if they are giving you the lessons free of charge. This is something you pay to acquire. Then why can't they just put in their whole efforts to make sure that the learning environment is conducive?
The learning environment is conducive. Okay, let me still take the word of Ona Ondo. He said, I'll quote the noun, he said, "We will have no excuse vis-a-vis future generations if we do not fight to improve the standard of our universities and ensure that our scientific research has a real impact on the development of our countries." This is where we are today. Because even as at today, the university cannot come out with a research. We have diseases coming up every day. We have Ebola. Now we have COVID-19. This is where universities can come out to say, okay, we have set up a research team in our scientific department. This is what we are going to come up with. That what we have with Oxford, that come out with that liaise with the AstraZeneca to produce the vaccine. We can also have things like this. So does it mean that we cannot liaise with the university to produce effective manpower in Africa?
It all goes down to lack of basic facilities and infrastructure. When a lab is lacking all these equipment, then what are you going to use and do the practicals? What are you going to use? Are you going to use your bare or your bare hands or your head?
Don't you think I think this is where students can also come out to say something, because in most cases, like the university that we are very close here with, I have never heard students coming out to say their learning environment is not good. To say, okay, we are leading a peaceful protest, we want the infrastructure to be improved. But most of the time, when they come out of the street, it's because the government has failed to pay them their learning allowance. That is where we hear them speaking out.
Because of money is involved, that is when they want to speak out. Then get the basic requirements, which is knowledge. You don't want to speak out so that people will hear or people will know we don't have things like this in our school. Government should please help us.
Now we have, let's look at the sub-region, which has about 6 or 7 countries. We have Cameroon. No universities appears there. What happened? Because I think in 2019 or thereabout, I think we had one universities that were trying to dunk inside maybe the top 1 or 1,000 or something like that. But it is not, because this year we have only 11 African universities at the top 1,000 compared to 18 universities that we had in 2020 and 17 in 2019.
It's too bad that this year none came up from Central Africa. But someone told me that to pass a university exam in Cameroon is in fact, it's very hard.
It's hard everywhere, not only in Cameroon. It's hard everywhere.
I wonder why no university was picked in Cameroon. Because you cannot just suffer to pass your exams, then at the end of it, at least when you pass your exams in one of the universities there.
But passing exam,
the school.
Excuse me, passing exam is not the criteria used. Because one of the criteria that we take into account is that, one, the academic reputation of the university.
That is it. Passing the exam, because you cannot just, because of academic of the university, if it is that poor, then students will keep passing in flying colors.
Yes,
but when it's hard, you have to scratch your head before you even get to a point of scaling through. Another
reputation that were added there is employability of graduate, at least 10% of the graduate. How many graduates has come out from a certain university in Cameroon or in Gabon or in Congo, Brazzaville or Central African Republic, and then one will say, okay, you just get in there, you see a company
coming. People will be looking for you.
Yes, before you finish school. These are what they take into consideration. What are the quality of the graduates that are coming out of university? Not only in Central African sub-region, but also in other, in all Africa. So that is the thing. And then, yes, what do you have to say on that, Uche?
In fact, our system of education is very poor. African system of education is very, very poor. And I think it's time to put in more efforts to come up to the best. Because we cannot keep running away from Africa to get educated abroad.
Yes, and another criteria there was the student-faculty ratio. Student-faculty ratio, because if you go to most of these universities, especially these conventional universities, you see they will admit more students than the facilities that they have in the university.
That's too bad.
Yes.
When you get to the class, the classroom is crowded and all that.
It's crowded. Even the hostel
from the window.
From the window outside.
It's quite bad.
So if you see a situation like that, so you don't need to blame the criteria, or those that have come out to say, okay, none of these universities make up, because before they come out with they must have carried out a basic assessment on that. Another ratio is the international professors.
Some claim they do go to India. Some claim they do study in London. Some claim they are professors, like, I don't know whether it's professor by mouth or professor by maybe getting some degrees or all that. Because you cannot just claim you are educated, you've gotten your qualification from elsewhere. Then down there in the school that you are a lecturer, you can't prove it.
Do you think that is the case?
That is the case.
Because most of these professors, because before you are given that position or promoted to that level, you must have merited the professional position that you have.
After meriting the professionalism or whatever, then you cannot prove it to your students or to the university that you are lecturing.
I think they do. I want to believe most of those professors do have it. But what do we have here is another thing is the scientific publications.
Scientific publications?
Yes, I do know in most universities, some lecturers may find it difficult to come out with a publication, because that is why I would have loved to maybe take a walk into one of these universities that is around us and look at the faculty journals.
Okay.
Because if you look at the faculty journal, this is where you now see those professors those lecturers that are really active, that are really doing something, because every faculty must have a journal that they, apart from the faculty journal, they also must have to contribute to other international journals. How many of our professors from the Central African region have done that? How many professors from the West Africa have done that, from the North, and so on? So what is happening? Are they not publishing again?
Well, the question is maybe due to lack of funding. Just like during my own days in school, those days, you hear lecturers saying they've not paid us, we've not collected our money, this, that, a lot of things, a lot of complaints. Maybe the issue of funding is really making them not to have some publications anymore.
But
because you cannot just go ahead to publish a journal. A journal requires some money.
Indeed.
You cannot just do it like free. This is something you do, even some students, you find out that they do give it out to students to buy. So you cannot just go ahead and use your own money to publish a journal, then at the end of the day,
but if you publish a journal, it is for the interest of the professor, because it is now showing that you are updated with the system, with the current system, you are doing research, not only in your area, because at this moment, we need research, scientific research, in fact, in all areas where we are now having development. You know, the world is dynamic. Every day we are having a series of sickness and diseases that are coming out. Really, we need most of these publications.
Definitely, we need the publications, at least. Assuming they have much publications coming from the CIMAC zone, at least one of the universities might have entered the list.
Yes, and that brings us to the commission, the university commission. What will now make a university to be a certain course or certain faculty to be approved if it is not met, if it is the standard of that faculty does not meet? Do you think that can be done? No,
I don't think so. If the standard of a faculty in a university doesn't meet up with the criteria, then why the need of promoting them?
And that is where we are today, because if those faculties, like law faculty, especially medicine and all the scientific faculties, you cannot approve them if you don't have the basic infrastructure, like the laboratory, which is very essential, well equipped, up to the standard, the modern standard, international standard, that if a student is going in there, he or she would know what she is studying. If that is not there, so why do you want to set up a faculty of medicine when you do not have even a lecturer who can handle most of those areas?
It's quite bad that because of this so-called university they have medicine, then you want to also have a school of medicine in your own school, whereas the two are not in the same comparison.
So where are we now? What should they do? What should in fact, how should we improve the level of university education on the continent?
I think there is need to really improve the standards of universities. That is where they should start from. They should increase their standards and make sure that their scientific research truly impacts the development of their countries. Also, in terms of accreditation and certification, they should also go ahead to make sure that all establishments, all training establishments, all schools should be well accredited.
Well accredited. Yes, I honestly 100% agree with you, because you cannot set up a faculty which is lacking in infrastructure, and then you have students there. So what do you expect them when they come out? What would be the job market as we have seen according to this criteria? So I think the government and those in authority are listening. We need our university to be up to standard. Most of the courses that were accredited, if I were in the system, should be reassessed to see whether this thing is meeting the standard before they are allowed to operate. So that when next the world ranking of universities will come up, we want to see more of African universities making the ranking. Because if you have the 11 African universities, only 7 come from South Africa and 4 come out from Egypt. So so that is maybe in the other years, we're having universities from West Africa and the rest of the thing. And so we hope that in our next ranking, we will see more of African universities making the top 1,000, only top 1,000. So thank you for being there. And then we now go to our next edition. Recently, the World Health Organization nominated a renowned DR Congo gynecologist and Dr. Dennis Mukwege into the Scientific Council of the institution. We'll come back to discuss after the report.
The WHO Scientific Council, created in April 2021 by the Director General of WHO, Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, has added a new member to his team. This is Dr. Dennis Mukwege, a gynecologist and human rights activist who has been appointed member of the Scientific Council of the WHO. He will act as a spokesperson for scientific managers and strongly advises the WHO Director General on high-priority scientific issues and advances in science and technology that could have a direct impact on global health. This newly created council organized its first meeting on Tuesday, April 27, to decide on the first steps and a work program. And the council is made up of 9 eminent scientists from around the world. They serve in their personal capacity and represent a wide range of disciplines encompassing many aspects of science, ranging from basic research to the science of public health implementation. Its members are recruited and selected as recognized experts from around the world in the fields of basic sciences, translational and clinical research, social sciences, epidemiology, and public health. The new member of this structure, Dr. Dennis Mukwege, has received numerous awards for his work, including the United Nations Human Rights Award in 2008, the Right Livelihood Award 2013. Time magazine named him one of the 100 most influential people in the world, and the Carter Foundation named him a citizen of the world. In 2018, he received the Nobel Peace Prize for his global efforts to end the use of rape as a weapon of war. Dr. Mukwege founded Pansy Hospital and Foundation and has become one of the world's leading specialists on treating survivors of wartime sexual violence.
Yeah, thank you for being there. Uche, Dr. Dennis Mukwege, an appointment well deserved.
Wow, it's a very well deserved appointment because Dr. Dennis Mukwege has really made a great impact on the society, has really made a great impact in DRC Congo, and has really made a great impact internationally. Yes,
he has made a lot of impact. He's so involved in the public health in that sector, where he personally is his own clinic that is set up. He would just only for them to treat the women that were assaulted or being abused during the war and who has gone through that kind of situation.
It's a really good one because not all doctors will sacrifice their knowledge to treat women that are victims of rape.
Yeah, in fact, Uche, when you look at Dennis Mukwege's achievement, and then you now look back, and then we were just a few minutes ago, we were talking about the quality of education, the university education. If we have people like this, don't you think they can now go into the university, whether in the DRC, whether you can be invited in Gabon to deliver, to teach students in medicine?
It will also be a good one if he can volunteer, because you cannot just call him to take up what it is not having passion for.
No, because he can, because the best thing is if you have knowledge as he is, a renowned gynecologist like that, he need to pass on the knowledge, that kind of intellect to the young ones who will now replace when he will no longer be here.
I think it's also good if he should accept, just like I said. You know, his journey of being a doctor started when he was 8.
Yes.
And being at that time, the father was a pastor. He do follow his father to pray for some sick people. Then along the line, he was like, no, my father, I cannot just continue to pray for people without giving them medicine. So that was the reason why he ventured into reading medicine in school and start to treat people. So that is his passion. Then it's left for him to decide, okay, I have to put in I have to make an impact on students by training them. So it's left for him to decide. The government cannot just say, oh yeah, because of this.
No, I am not saying the government on this one, because in most of this, the university is left. It is now left for most of these universities to invite him. Definitely to invite him as a visiting scholar, visiting professor. Okay, you can come in for 1 month, be teaching the children. What the university need to do to pay him and then
But it's already
give
the
him
World Health
yes,
Organization.
lodgement, not even only going to the World Health Organization to help in the scientific research and all that. He can also come back and impart that knowledge in Africa so that we keep on enjoying or to produce more of Dr. Dennis Mukwege.
It will be a good one. Dr. Dennis Mukwege, we at Labeltv is pleading with you, at least to make out your time to teach the young generation, make an impact on the young generation as well, and not just on the World Health Organization.
Yeah, I hope he will be, he definitely will do that, because if you have, not only Dr. Dennis Mukwege, we have other intellectuals on the continent, which I believe if the government is serious or the university system is serious about it, once in a while, you invite some of them. Because I know they used to do it in my country, Nigeria, where they have a public lecture, you invite most of these academics, professors, they will come in there and impart knowledge to the student. And it will now become an inspiration, which some of us will say, okay, we are going to be like this one, we are going to be like this person. So if that is not done, I think the impact or the zeal of education in most of this our region will be lacking there, really.
Yeah, it will be lacking, because there's nobody to follow up, there's no role model and all that. So, Mr. Dennis Mukwege.
Yeah, Dr. Dennis Mukwege, we are happy for your appointment to be a part of that scientific council at the World Health Organization. We wish you the best, that you at least we have been renowned. You are a Nobel laureate because of your work that you have been doing for the past years. So we wish you the best to keep on the job. Uche, your last word here, because we are rounding up.
Hello, I just want to say you should keep up the good work that you've started, and may the Lord keep strengthening you.
Yes, and on that note, we have come to the end of this episode of the 7th round. Thank you for watching. Keep it with us next Sunday. Goodbye.